What is up, everybody? I'm Byro Vinny, and this is my review of Ratchet and Clank, the movie, based off of the game, based off of the movie, based off of the game, and its whole synergy and corporate love and its whole wonderfulness. Is what I wish I could say, but oh man, this I'm not in a good place with movies right now. Batman versus Superman really let me down. My girlfriend took me to the Jungle Book, and that was okay, but it was just another, it was clearly just, hey, let's remake the Jungle Book. It wasn't that amazing, and then here's Ratchet and Clank, and I'm like, yes, it's gonna be great. And the game came out, and the game was great. It was like awesome, and it was fun, and it had a lot of clips from the movie. So I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see what extra stuff there is. And spoiler alert, it's not much. Like maybe 60, maybe even closer to 70% of the cutscenes in the game are taken from the movie. So really, if you've beaten the game, you pretty much know the major plot points and all that. And, there's maybe, like, honestly, off the top of my head, 4 or 5 new scenes. And little additions to, remix scenes and what other ways. But yeah, so before any spoilers or anything else, biggest spoiler I can say is if you beat the game, there's very little reason to go see this movie. Because a lot of the cutscenes are just the movie clips are cutscenes, and you get the same basic. Honestly, in terms of pacing, I prefer the game because the game allows you, you start with Ratchet on this planet, and there's the 2-3 levels before the city attack, where you can see Ratchet and Clank grow and Ratchet develop and all this stuff. And at the start of the game, there's actually like a small obstacle course for Ratchet to do, and in this one he kind of just shows up, and then smash cut to tryouts or Quark rejecting him. Yeah, so really the game has better pacing, and like I said, there's small little jokes. Honestly, I'm a tough judge because everyone's like, Ratchet and Clank's the best, Ratchet and Clank's hilarious. I have never genuinely laughed at a Ratchet game. I chuckle, I go, oh, haha, that's funny, like for example, just, I know it's not the game itself, but in Ratchet and Clank 3, Up Your Arsenal, you can have the skins, right, that changes your different things, and depending on the skin you have, that will actually affect the in-game cutscenes, which is nice, especially for the PS2. And then there's like a scene where it's just like Ratchet dancing to basically Britney Spears, and he's like twerking and do all these funny moves, and that itself is not funny. But then when you add the snowman outfit, that makes it hilarious. Just like to see the snowman dancing, like, and that's the most I've ever laughed at the game, and the game didn't do that. That was all me. Well, yeah. So like the humor, like Quark's, I think it might be in 3 too, where they introduce Quark's like little cartoon doodle drawings. At first it was like, oh, haha, that's cute because he's an idiot. But like after the 50th time, you're like, yeah, all right, we get it. Quark's a dummy. But yeah, so as someone who's played 90% of the series, the only one I'm missing is like Cell Phone 1, which nobody played, and Full Frontal Assault. So I don't know. I've never laughed out loud at Ratchet. There's been plenty of moments I've chuckled, so I find the humor in this movie about the same, maybe a step down, because there's no adult jokes. There's, lots of cute, like, they make fun of the, I don't even know what the technical term is. At the bottom of a screen where they have, like, Planet Qatar or whatever, and then, they'll say, gift shops open daily. Just cute little stuff like that. Or I think at the start of the movie it's very Deadpool, where it's like, you know, deplanetizer, cue bad guy speech in 3, 2, 1. It's getting cute. So is it funny? I don't remember. There's one or two things like laugh out loud. There were none laugh out loud moments, but there were plenty where it's like, oh, yeah, like, and it's the best I got. In terms of the character and the story, it go well. So it's not too much of a spoiler. Again, like we're past the point, people. I'm not. Again, the game spoils too much, and it's not like Ratchet and Clank is known for its story, but in terms of characters, if you saw the trailer and you have a passery knowledge of the series, because he's been in like 7 games, Nefarious is in it. He's the best. You get his motivation that he used to work with the Galactic Rangers, and they pick on him, so he just went crazy, and now he wants to destroy them. Great. And he, you know, he does have a character growth, and like everyone knew was gonna happen, or at least all the Ratchet fans. Like, yeah, there's a scene at the end where I don't understand what happened. He was like in a teleporter or something, and his skin turned to energy, and something. He's a robot. The point is, at the end of the movie, he is a robot. So there you go. And then after him is Quark, and Quark is never been like an amazing character, but they do him justice. You get his hero's journey and all that. You see him like, you know, you understand a little bit better, because in the game it's just like Quark hates you for no really justifiable reason, and here you understand how, and he sells you out basically. He's just like, oh, well, yeah, all right, well, cool. Like the way I interpreted it in the game was that Quark was always working for Drex, and in the movie they make it more clear that no, Drex seduced him and like got him there. But yeah, you get, and you know, he has his moments. Again, nothing I can think off the top of my head, but he's Quark. Then you got Clank, and Clank is like Clank again. Clank's not really a deep character. I kind of wish they gave him more to do. They got the character right, and he has, you know, his signature giggle and all that. The one that's fared not bad, but just the worst was Ratchet, because he's just not in the game. You get he's a little more geeky. Because especially the scene where they visit Big Al, and he has like all the posters, and he's like, oh yeah, like Ratchet, like he's excited. He likes these things. This one he's more of just kind of like not a dweeb, but like he's like he's almost like someone from the '50s. You're like, golly gee, I'm gonna get him, and good golly, and it's like, again, he's not bad. It's just he's like, you know, you get the feel that he's a tinkerer. You get the fact that he is smart, but, you know, misguided. Blah blah blah. Standard hero stuff. But yeah, like, you really don't get a feel for Ratchet as a character. Just in terms of that, he, like, honestly, like, in the game you understand he wants to be a Galactic Ranger, and that's why he lies to Clank about being a Ranger and all that stuff. And in the thingy, he's just like, once he becomes a Ranger, he kind of, well, that's pretty much his character story right there. But yeah, so the characters, again, so none of the characters are bad. They're very much like the games. It's just like, I know the side people are fine. Again, in the game, you get more context, because you go on missions with these people and you learn them. The movie's biggest problem is that stuff that becomes set pieces for games, they kind of just skip over. Like, at the start of the movie, the one scene that actually transfers very well is when you arrive at the Hall of Heroes, or whatever it was, the Galactic headquarters. And in the game, you have to pick up these robots and fling it into a ship. And they actually do that in the movie, and it's fairly funny, and it shows Ratchet, you know, abilities and his talents, and like Clank helping him and all that stuff. They work well as a team. I really like that team. That's probably for the pair, the best scene in the movie. But in the next one, after Ratchet's training, which felt like an extended like game tutorial almost, because it was like the combustinator and the cyclone gun and all. I will give the game. I will give the movie that. Is the one thing I did like as a Ratchet fan was they didn't feel the need to explain every single weapon, but you saw them all. Like the one, not shocking, but like surprising thing was near the end of the movie, Quark uses like the tornado spinning blade, you know, the disc that creates a tornado and it tries to suck them in, and then Quark shoots it to destroy it like you would in the game. They didn't make a big thing about it. They weren't like, oh, wow. The Rhino was kind of weak. I mean, I understand it's the Rhino. Well, first off, they just defaulted to, Nefarious invented everything. Like, in the game, it's cute because you go to the weapons factory and you meet the guy, and there's the smuggler guy who makes the Rhino plans for you. Here, it's just Nefarious did it all. So Nefarious is a Rhino. That's the only thing that hurts his character, is the fact that how smart he is. In the games, he's like this fine line between being like a mad scientist, like a smart person, and then this crazy, wacky, just like goof imbecile who, you know, is struggling. And in the movie, he's much more capable. But I digress. Where I was talking about, so after Ratchet's training, they get to this factory, and basically, within the span of 15 minutes, they get to the factory, they're attacked by Zircons, and they leave. Now, in the game, it's like this whole big thing, and you fight the Mama Zircon, and I'm like, but in the movie, they jump around a lot. It's a lot of fast-paced stuff and all that. And like, even in the game, it's very quick. It's just like, you fail, I think, one level, and then Ratchet quits just out of nowhere. In the movie, you kind of get it, but not a lot. The only real difference the movie adds is Nefarious throws Ratchet into a spaceship so he can physically see it, as opposed to, you know, the game where I think it's just a cutscene and then it's like, oh, he quits. But yeah, like, just overall, it's not a bad movie. I'm curious to see people. There were kids there. They weren't losing it. They were like, I don't want to say bored, but they heard a giggle or two. It wasn't that much. The kids got excited. There's this one awesome kid who every single time a new weapon came out, he was like, oh, it's the Negotiator, it's the Zircons, it's these and that. Like, he knew every single weapon, so he enjoyed it. But yeah, overall, it's not a bad movie. If you've not played the game, I would go check it out. Again, it's got just enough, like, little things that, like, you should see the movie, but only if you're like a hardcore Ratchet fan to see the little stuff. Like, there are small changes, like in the movie, Quark doesn't go to jail. In the game, like, it starts with Quark narrating how he got in jail and all that stuff. In the movie, he just goes on like a apology tour, and like, I did my big hope with this one is, like a lot of movies today, you know, the first one is okay. There's nothing wrong with this movie. There's nothing like, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. This is just, it's solidly okay. So I'm really hoping in the sequel that maybe, you know, they could go anywhere. Like, there was a small touch was that, I think there's just like a 5-second clip of the president of the galaxy or whatever, and that's the president from Ratchet and Clank 3 with the lying guy who, like, Ratchet falls in love with his daughter and all that. Because Ratchet just gets around. He's a player like that. So, that's what I'm excited for, is the fact that, like, I think it was pretty much him and the reporter, both the robot girl and the green-haired, or the alien guy. Like, so that's where I'm most excited. Is like, all right, we've laid the groundwork. Like, yeah, okay, they're friends, everything like that. I'm excited to see what they can do now with a full-fledged Ratchet movie that doesn't have to do any of this boring setup for general audiences. So, is it bad? No. Is it good? Not really. It's kind of like in the middle. It's just solidly okay. So, final recommendations: just play the game.